What's up, everybody? This is JK Builders. I'm K-Train.
J-Dog.
This is J-Dog. Today we're going to be reviewing and going over one of the newest LEGO sets. It is from Star Wars The Mandalorian. This is the Razor Crest. Jackson's going to break down the box. Jackson, take it away.
Well, it only comes with 5 guys. The child, which we usually call Baby Yoda, the Mandalorian, Gref, Karga, IG-11, and a Scout Trooper.
Cool. And how many pieces is it?
1,023.
1,023 pieces. It's set number 75292. It's a 10 plus set. The back of the box, pretty straightforward. It has an open up view. It shows the different things that open up. It shows the different guns that it has, a little storage capacity, where the Mandalorian sleeps. Has a little escape pod. Pretty cool stuff. Also comes with a couple of people frozen in carbonite. So here's the instruction book. Pretty straightforward. Good sized book. I think there's a good variation of Technic as well as just standard typical LEGO brick build. The instructions have about 241 pages. So there you go. There it is. All right, this is the Razor Crest. So it took me about a day and a half to build, I think. It's actually probably one of my favorite Star Wars LEGO sets. Jackson, what do you think?
It's probably one of my favorites too.
It's one of your favorites as well. Yeah, so I mean, mostly just because of all the hype going around about the Mandalorian. It was a lot of fun to kind of put the ship together and kind of see the different parts of it come together. It has these 2 huge engines on the sides, some really cool decals there. It has the cockpit that opens up like this, and you see the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda fit inside. A couple of blasters. It does open up. Jackson, do you want to show us how it opens up? The side compartments open up. What do we have in there?
Well, where the Mandalorian sleeps is up here.
So there's a little bed for the Mandalorian to sleep in.
And then there's just all this room in the Razor Crest.
And a bunch of storage room. What do we have over here? What are those things?
These are the people that are in carbonite.
So the people he freezes in carbonite and stores in the undercarriage of the ship. You have a couple of those.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ship
is a place for all the blasters and then the rest of the storage.
So some extra ammunition, and then the back opens up as well. So it opens up really nicely to see what's inside. I mean, honestly, there's not a ton of stuff like playable features on the inside, but there's some extra cargo capacity, places to put some characters. Inside we have the IG-11, and we have Greef Karga as well. We'll talk more about the minifigs here in just a second, but that's kind of the breakdown. So I actually thought it was a lot of fun to put this together. There was it wasn't too hard. There's a couple parts here that didn't seem like they were going to line up, but then they did. It was a pretty straightforward build. You got a couple of blaster guns here that you can push down like so, one on each side, and this is the escape pod that comes off, and inside you can see there's a little spot. We'll see if we incorporate that into the TV show sometime. So anyway, yeah, there's a nice little cockpit where Baby Yoda and Din hang out and fly the ship. On the bottom, it has landing gear, 3 pieces of landing gear. Not quite accurate to the show, but I don't know how they could have done too much better than that. But all in all, a really cool set. It displays really nicely right here behind me on my shelf. So let's take a look at the minifigs now and see what we think of those. All right, so here's the minifig collection that it comes with. You see we got Baby Yoda, which we actually now know his real name because we just saw the latest episode of The Mandalorian, but we will not spoil that today. Next up we have Mando. Din Djarin. Get focused up in on that. Then we got a Scout Trooper. You can just leave them sat down because it's hard to focus. Then we got Grief Karga, a couple of guns, and then of course we got IG-11. Pretty good lineup, I think, for this set. The Baby Yoda, you know, I have mixed emotions about that. Obviously, it could have been a lot better. I know a lot of people, it's not their fave. Hopefully they revise that now that we've seen the Christmas special, where we had a little bit different setup for Baby Yoda. But as it is, it's kind of cool. Good piece to have. Next up is Mando. You see he's not wearing his Beskar armor. So I know in future installments of Mando, he will be wearing the Beskar armor. Here he just has his original suit on. There's really nothing on his sleeves. He has a nice little cape, a helmet. And the disappointing thing about him is that he does just have the black head rather than the actual face printing. So, you know, it is what it is. I think future installments of The Mandalorian, hopefully he'll have a face and be wearing that Beskar armor. Next up, Standard Scout Trooper. Pretty sure we've seen him a few different times before, but you got to include that in the set. And then we have Grief Karga, who obviously teams up with Mando. A couple of guns. And then of course we got IG-11. It was kind of cool how he went together. One of the things I didn't like was on his back they had an additional piece that made his gun stick way out. I ended up taking that off just because I felt like it was a little bit better representation of him to have it closer to his back. It looked kind of funky the way that it was meant to be. So that was my only real complaint about that. Otherwise, I think he looks pretty good. Which one's your favorite, Jackson?
Probably Mando.
Of course, Mando. All right, and then a close-up look of the ship. We'll just go through this again. We got the cockpit here comes off. You can see inside. Got a couple seats, one for Baby Yoda, the child, and one for Mandalorian. Around back, we got this thing that opens up, so you can see inside. Sleeping quarters down there for Mando. Got the couple of prisoners in carbonite. So as far as comparing it to the show, the one on the show, I think it's a pretty accurate representation. Probably about as best they could do with the amount of pieces that they incorporated. As far as like the length, proportions, I think in the movie, or the show, sorry, I want to call it a movie, but I think these engines are a little bit bigger. Obviously the landing gear is a lot different, but it just opens up and comes out in the show. So it's kind of hard to get that. I wish they would have done a little bit more on the inside to show like Baby Yoda's quarters, and maybe like the quarters where he keeps all of his guns you see in the one episode. Yeah. There's a few things that I wish they would have done, but obviously this being what it is, it's only a $129 set, it's only 1,000 pieces or so. There's only so much you can do, but all in all, I'm super happy with it. It's definitely one that I'd highly recommend if you don't have this as part of your collection. Pick it up for yourself. All right, so that's the Razor Crest. So all in all, I'd probably give this a solid 9.4 out of 10. Just the few minor issues that we talked about, but otherwise it was a fun build. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Jackson, what did you think?
My rating would probably be a 9.8.
9.8? Wow, so really, really good. Anyway, that's the Razor Crest. What'd you think of it? Did you like it? Have you built it? Comment down below. And as always, like and subscribe to see more.